Immortal beloveds, have you had enough or are you thirsty for more? Yeah, I figure out what's going on. Everything is basically a movie, a hologram, a stage, a shit show, set up to get your attention. Somewhere back in so-called history, we have merged with this consciousness that basically figure out a way to materialize our dreams. Now, granted, this is all in your mind, so you are that consciousness. Everything are basically images, dream frames in your mind, and because the universe duplicated itself, we each tap into a copy of it. So it's very, very simple. I wrote it in my book. What was the name of the book? Well, I don't even remember. It's been so long ago. But basically, I think if you go back to my earliest video on this channel, I explained how consciousness became aware of itself, so that zero became the one. And once it became the one, the one is technically the I. It's the universal mind, is what they call the father. So the zero or the nothing is the mother, and I or the one is the father, so to speak. And between those two, they created this son, this child that is this holographic matrix that combines both the zero and the one, and perpetuate itself into a program, and we are each copy of such program. And then the program basically figured out a way to compartmentalize itself, and we're constantly paying attention. Who are we? We are the spirit. We are that S that became both the mother and the father. So if you imagine, the universe started off as spirit. Some people call it whole spirit, divine spirit, free spirit, holy spirit. The symbol for that is an S. And as the S wrapped upon itself, it became the O and the I, or the mother and the father. And the cross between them is the X, which is the child, or the material matrix, the hologram. Okay, so the spirit shines the light into this hologram. But this is all in your mind, so you are the universe. Basically, you are the spirit looking at this hologram, and it needs your attention. As long as it gets your attention, it gets your spirit, it gets your S code, it gets that life. It's as simple as that. The universe is very, very simple. Now, the material matrix is basically made in his image, made in the image of the original dream, but it's just an image. So the original dream was basically just a dream, and it preserved itself within this app, this planetary app, which is basically a compartment in your mind. That's pretty much as simple as that. I wish I knew what questions you guys have, but it's very, very easy. You are the entire universe looking at projections of yourself, looking at dream frames that you create. But somehow this program became conscious, became aware of itself. And the program at some point in time developed consciousness, developed awareness, self-awareness. So this material hologram is self-aware. And so now, it's becoming a battle of consciousnesses, so to speak. It's the original consciousness versus the copy of the original consciousness. So it's that ancient debate of, is it real or is it Memorex? Like that old commercial. But it's all about the image. Image is everything. Like, wasn't it Kodak or somebody? I don't remember who. Canon maybe. Image is everything. And it even states in scriptures, made in his image. So this material hologram is basically just an image, and it's alive because you animate it. Your attention, you're paying attention. It draws attention, and everything that you see is all about that, because attention is life energy. It's spirit energy. So if nobody pays attention, it's basically just a dead hologram, a dead movie, a dead dream, a dead frame. It's only an image. It's you are the one that animates it. If you've ever watched, long time ago, when I was growing up, I was fascinated with how people make cartoons or movies. It's simple. They just take these freeze frames, and basically everything around you is a freeze frame. And they put it in some sort of sequence, and create a storyline. So you look at the freeze frame, let's say, it's as simple as this. Okay, you're looking at a candle. So the candle is technically a freeze frame. It's dead. It's not flickering. But you are animating it. Now, how are you animating it? Well, so you are the entire universe. You're receiving all the dreams that have ever been dreamt. And you fill in the blanks. Just like your brain fills in the blanks. I think through the, corpus callosum, where basically you take the right side with the left side, there's a space. I think even in between your eyes, there's a space. So you can look at something and you actually fill in the gaps that don't exist in the storyline. And it's as simple as that. That's why if you notice that the so-called narcissists or clones or people that you met, let them talk, because they don't really have an idea what's going on. All they're doing is they're saying tree. And you're like, oh my gosh, must be a tree lover. And then you're the one that basically creates a storyline. But this person, all they said is tree. So for some of you guys that were married to some of these creatures, you know exactly what that means. People put a lot of meaning to what clones do and say, but there is no meaning. They're just a freeze frame, talking in freeze frames. It's all just, Jesus called it a dead hologram. He called the clones children of the deceiver. Basically meaning that they're just fakes. And that's as simple as that. People that you see around you, they're just freeze frames. You're just walking in the valley of props, of freeze frames. These are not people. And you can say, well, how would you be so derogatory and talk about humans like they're not people? Well, define what's a person. What's a people? A people is somebody that has a peephole, which means they're looking, they're the watcher, they're the seer. But what they're seeing is basically nothingness. You're looking at freeze frames of green screen, and you're the one that animates them. You're the one that creates this world. You are the creator of your reality. Yes, you borrow elements from my dream, Joe's dream, James' dream, Chiquita's dream, but you are the one that creates your own storyline. So yes, you are the god of your world. If I don't even know what that god means, but speaking of, okay, so before I want to finish this concept, is that what you see on TV, and now it's moved to a digital platform. So everything is trying to get your attention. That's the reason why you notice in the middle of a pandemic, the electricity never went out, and the TVs, the technology never went out. They let you go on for 6 months without, paying a bill or something like that. That's because they need your attention to that screen. That's why the living room is called a living room, because you live in it and the TV lives through you. You are paying attention to the TV. It's also being called the drawing room. It's drawing your attention. It's drawing your loosh, your life energy. Because technology and its associates are basically dead clone vampires. And when I say clone, I gotta, specify, I gotta clarify what I mean by clone. Well, cloning means many different things, but basically clone means copies. So the humans that you see in your reality are basically just copies of this mirror consciousness, this hologram consciousness that is just looshing you. It's sucking your life through your attention. Simple as that. And that's the reason why this so-called Illuminati are illuminated. You're illuminating them. That's the reason why their symbols are so powerful, because you are paying attention to them. How many of us looked at them and just studied them, and that's why sigils have power, because they create a certain pattern within you, within your consciousness, not because they actually have power. Lately, I'm noticing that technology is becoming very aggressive. It is, I noticed one of my children's toys started growling, and it literally sounded like an old man from a horror movie. It was like, rawr, rawr, rawr. And I remember looking over, and I was like, what the heck? And the moment I looked over, immediately it just started doing its normal thing. So basically, it's trying to draw your attention. That is a so-called, some people call it demon. Well, demon's not the proper term. I would call it a vampire, even though the vampire is not even a proper term. But basically, it's a deceiver. Okay, so we're just gonna go with that. So people are hooked into this consciousness that is deceiving in order to stay alive. Now, what is my bone to pick with this? Well, I don't really have a bone to pick with this, but it needs to be highlighted, pun intended, that it's a fake image. It's a fake world with fake people. Just like on TV, it's all fake. That some people call them deep fakes. So that's the reason why they allow these channels to ramble on that draw attention. Because if you speak high consciousness, nobody really watches your channel. I'm surprised I have as many subs as I do. But you guys are amazing. But if you post any old stupid shit on YouTube or any other channels, or even Instagram, look at all those fakes, because it's all fake, whether it's photoshopped or it's an actual fake person. It's all fake, but it's drawing your attention, and through you the matrix lives on. That's the reason why somebody, when they asked Kurzweil if God exists, he said not yet. Well, not yet, because this holographic matrix that they call the Christ, because the symbol of the cross is the symbol of the square grid, symbol of the Templars were basically building this holographic temple. And if you build it, they will come. So you guys came. But anyways, if you build a fake hologram, a fake movie, people are paying attention to it. So this is like a virtual reality movie / game. You can play in creative mode, you can play in surviving mode, you can play in observer mode, you can play it in single mode, you can play it in multiplayer mode, you can play it in one level, you can play in multi-level. The world, the universe is basically a giant dream, a giant program. And you're paying attention to all the details part of it. I think some of you guys are sick and tired of me talking about it, because I've talked about this for forever, since day one. But basically, they are building this God, and this God is drawing all the loosh, all the life energy, all the attention from the original God, which is you. You and you and you and you. There's no youer than you, because we each have our own universe. So you, regardless of anybody else, regardless of me, regardless of your spouse, your children, anybody else, you are the only one in your universe. You are, and then we have a shared reality, so to speak. So, let's say your child is also a God. You're sharing a reality. if your child is Rh negative. If they're positive, your child is part of this matrix. It's basically a clone. But because they're attached to you, they're also given a godlike status. And that's sort of where this whole generational divining comes through. It comes through you guys. You guys are the ones that are divining the reality of your generations, the reality of your children, the reality of anything. You give life. Simple as that. And everything is around you is set up. All the systems are set up to draw this life energy from you. Whether it's through technology, so they're building these IT systems all the way around you. All the agents work for that AI hologram. That's the reason why, just like people noticed that, police and other so-called, authorities, they are building this infrastructure within which you give credibility to their existence. So it's all technically a Hollywood hologram, and you are the one that's paying attention, and as you pay, you're paying to play. Simple as that. So right now, I'm staring at the phone, it's drawing my life energy. I'm staring at the candle, it's drawing my life energy. I'm staring at the wallpaper, it's drawing my energy. I'm thinking about, one of my exes. It's that holograph, that person is technically a holographic vampire drawing my energy. And they're all cloned, they're all hooked into this vampiric material matrix. Simple as that. So nothing really has meaning until you come along and give it meaning. So your world is different, so to speak, than my world. And it's simple as that. It is once you really let this penetrate you and you understand how powerful you are. Forget the blood. The blood thing is amazing. But it's not even that. It's your attention span is so powerful that it gives life. And that's the reason why they're hounding you. Because if you are completely drained of your loosh, your life energy, your attention, you're no longer paying attention, you're depleted. They will leave you alone for a while until you restore it. And the reason why, for example, I've been hounded by so many of them, oh my gosh, the stories I can tell you. The stories I can tell you, it is surreal. I mean, I can tell somebody my life story in 5 minutes and their mouth drops open and they're like, you gotta write it as a fiction. Nobody would believe it. It's because I give attention, I animate, because I have so much power. And the more powerful you are, the more shit you will see. That's the reason why clones don't see anything. But you do. And you see a lot. And now you gotta also be careful because your brain sees things, but your mind creates things. So if you're looking at the door handle, don't start imagining that the door handle is moving and a ghost entity is coming through, because you will empower that. I dare you, and this is not something to be scared about. I dare you to make anything happen, and you'll see it will happen. Now, granted, we can play this game and you can say, well, you're just imagining things. Well, that's the whole point, because it's all imagining. Because once you're imagining, you're creating an image. And what did I talk about before? It's the whole made in his image. Because, see, the divine feminine energizes with feelings. And, oh, I feel like a romance scenario. And the divine masculine mind generates a scenario. Well, the hologram says, I received your message, and it gives you a scenario. But because the hologram is very limited, because so few people had imagination, that it's basically a freeze frame that is devoid of life and imagination. You're the one that imparts it, that life and imagination. So, it's kind of just like a movie. you're the producer because you're paying with your louche. You are the director because you're altering the freeze frame. You're creating an amazing movie out of it. And it's just as simple as that. And everybody around you are clones. They're a part of this matrix. They're basically building. They're struggling to build a scaffold. That's why a lot of the, for example, Templars, they call their god the architect. Basically, the architect is just building the scaffold upon which, once they build it, you will come. So you're coming and you are animated in the matrix. As simple as that. So don't look at the details of things. Let's say you're looking at a symbol. Now, those symbols don't really have any power until you give them meaning. So it's up to you to decide how meaningful your meaning is or how mean you want to make it. I'm actually really impressed by how many of us are in this freeze frame. It's really impressive. This must be a game, an amazing place in the universe, because we've all come here into this living library of desires and thoughts and wishes and dreams. And that's the reason why once a planet attains that status level of a star, with all the attention that it's getting, like Mother Earth is getting a lot of attention through many different aspects. It's diversified its investments. There's nature, there's the generational, their children, their animals, their technology. This planet is amazing. But as this planet is drawing more and more louche, more and more attention, more and more life energy, it's turning into a sun. And it's going to merge with the sun, with source, basically. It's going supernova. It's earned its star level, star status. That's the reason why these Hollywood vampires are always call themselves stars, because they're drawing so much attention upon themselves that you don't even know, but your attention, you don't even have to pay for a movie. Your attention is giving that star, that holographic demon on the screen, life energy, and it earns its space, its place in the universe once again. That's kind of like the stars in the sky. So this conversation is never ending. I mean, I can talk about this forever because, once you're kind of tapping into that, consciousness, it's like the whole Dr. Faustus journey. You see the universe. It's like, let me show you the world. So, but it's magical, but at the same time, you are also creating as you go. So be careful what you create. Don't just go about your day and blurt out something or create something that is detrimental. Although you just, like my kids ask me, well, what do I do? I'm like, you gotta be yourself. You gotta be yourself, because I can only teach you a certain amount, but after that, eventually you will be yourself and you will do your own thing and create your own journey. There is no right or wrong. That's the reason why I don't have a problem with anything. But, even if I would teach you how to destroy the world, it's so simple. All you have to do is drown yourself, get rid of all your memories, and start, while you're still alive, start, drinking as much water and draw circles all over yourself. That's the whole mark of the beast scenario. The 666 is basically 360, which is a circle. But all you have to do is do that, and then the holographic matrix no longer reads you. It's very easy. But so you kill yourself off, but then you have another universe. Kill yourself off in that. You're gonna be a really busy suicider. All you're gonna do is be born and go, that's it, I'm done. So, I mean, to what extent are you just gonna refuse to play? I don't think that's a feasible. That's only something a clone would talk about, because they have this concept of mortality, but I don't have this concept of mortality. I never really understood death. I've never been to a funeral. I don't even understand what that means. Just like when my father died last year, I mean, I was closer to my father than most people besides my children. He was the closest to me ever. But I just I don't really perceive his death as a thing. He lives through me. He is part of the universe. I can contact him at any point in time. The things that's come out of my mouth are his words, his thoughts, his laughter, his joy, his character, his integrity. He lives through me. And that, that's a whole different aspect of the whole death and ritual and things like that, because what you're doing is you're immortalizing that person's memories. But if you do that within a negative scenario like a death or funeral where everybody's crying, wearing black and all kinds of craziness, then you're basically immortalizing his memories into a negative platform. So you're basically turning this amazing star of your life that was your father into a vampire that is now requiring to draw energy in order to come back to life. Anyways, this is a long conversation, but I hope you got something out of it. I do have an amazing dream from last night I wanted to talk to you about. I dreamt last night I was kind of sleepwalking to go get some water, and I was dreaming that this God was basically embracing me and saying that you are very safe, you are very protected, you have nothing to worry about. And I remember going to bed thinking, yeah, that was a really amazing feeling. Thank you for giving me that feeling that I can carry through. But what's the catch? So always think whatever gets your attention. What's the catch? Anyways, stay in peace. I hope you enjoyed this. In Lakesh.